Lial Sils, Chairman na kumangay the labor, CEO of Fraser. El Al Sils, el ngia ong erul kop singil el along troy el buil. Kadangara Satellite Officer Olbil, el mga tmok kartial Oversight hearing. Lobanggela Palau National Communications Corporation, PNCC, el Gombali Rigidar other bela rogoy. Ratokora telecommunication. Why say, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of Vice Chairman Nakamura, members of the committee, Senate, agidi merenga suli los mil mer elang, sabi edel kuk mo aabangal, mesa bebira uriol blada katmok, may gel dir kul tautel luriol da albangal. O sisulta me a committee direct merenga suli ura agel babiel los ilo durok may, los amlo mes, kada mga tmok kartel meeting rigi. Malwaise di bo rare word alwase kadangal tangat le President tra Senate Senator Hokons Paules mlos el mebengedre lang direct nga rin Vice Chairman na Senator Nakamura, member committee Senator Pedro tirigel restra members na committee mo takal si Ilmay direct man tangat nga rin artial tedel Senator sa mga limirgid Litatugang nga rin Senator Ngiri Bangal, Whips, Senator Marayray, direct Senator Rudima. Gida natulong ako, kada mlos edal kaswes, sel mle UNDP conference, mandirect kalm na rin ate elu, lugu ko ay sel mer kamam, ngara olbi, lalwase ngaray gel kukura bebira urior. Magimal sa mariar el al, gukmormeng sa lwase sel mer elang, yang kuk ngara gay gidi am lam katmok le ngara kuk kora dir kat albangal el uriol maral may. With that aktirek kalmal on behalf of the committee hindi mo swakal share luasi agi it's refreshing el munguy way kal babier el dia ko ontilaw do agi bay munguy way kal babier ko mo ay luasi mles ul secure funding grant funding balu ma agencies el mel nga sir gidel improve upgrade ikal sistem ergidra tokora cellular, TV, internet. Maktirek kalmal sa marial ng artiang oyeng kamiw, mereng asuliw. Luwase komlaw nga ledim le kamiw secure funding, mo support ikal services. Ulun suakal mo tuloy sera wala to mo. Hindi nakakatam mo ngas arala services sa kamiw. Akmutul mo tuloy. PNCC, mlamora kamarak, al dir ka kalongas aral legal service ringi yet kom continue el server adra bulur belaw at the same time kom mosiga te al improve ay gayid services el mergidar other belaw makmal again on behalf of President tra Senate ma leadership ma committee ra President tra telecommunications mal merenga suliw and we really look forward to a fruitful discussion direct luk mormeng sa igel bebira development direct mo nga ta makmestri ate alla our members trial senators suluk mokmera igel specific al garling kabadangay we cannot satisfy everybody all the time diakal sabel mo blool mo nga igel bebira ku ngal sa sela uryor nding kada continue malas malwasem makarata address ay with that tik paskawlal polse emal guksyoning tiral dila kalmay bol sa edel lo mo ura tel meeting ri chairman kumangay
alimal lungil swelbel mera bekla ote chairman kumal lam terabor dama kumbali gidra PNCC mal merenga sulemra opening statement tergaul maselo sengela committee ma senate tel girela kumbali ra other belaul PNCC kumama ang artiang al dire kalmal di loba o si siureng al mobang al girela o masyo al girira other belaw magi ngartiang emal merenga sudira members ra committee raw ma tokubet sa president ra Senate al senator Cons Paules al ngaladrong ulit marbek al senators al artial teal al waisay gidel mo lokon ngil wasa kadame kuk masubedal law ay sa igel kuklam katmok maigel the plan al mga tmok maigel malmol mal ongoing el improvement tel gida aso dal motmok mang way sa gide senatore kita didul madengel wase mal betok aswad a PNCC nganya dire kan mal betok el plans ngil girela awngil service affordable al moral other belau sel ngul labor da ma kombali ra PNCC ma a leadership ra blue belal wase kada provider a will service el moral other belau at an affordable price kada mlo siga bekal do ulel malmol mlo rek der segi del spirit del mel mutrela mang waigel dilong dili ka kadon nga sa ala lang idil service ra kombali yet teng kodo siga ku pebila source elol nga sergi del improve ay gal service ra kombali Makura dingol mo segi de mergo ibay direkal mal gubre nga suler adrabor del mos amel may. Ah umang kikal nga tial adrabor da. Umames sagi di tewang. Ako tedik kaya mal rakamiti ang gile director sa ning ilmang. Ges mera tretra model kasi elo mangedre lang. Hindi nga tial lang ang alingia director Swinya Mada. Nga bitangak. Alex niya vice chair aboard. El Carol Ngiraidis, ya next ringi ang gel hotel best al adrabor del director Alan Marbo, el ngatiare lang, ya nga raklisi of course Dodong Lilbekla del wasing CEO ra kumbalil Simon Fraser. Magi malungi lang mamartial tial chairman al nos amal me, ikdamaral mo ka dingi gel guk longot mok la PNCC, of course maral dia kasabay del satisfy rogul Lontiri adra belundi aku marang alwase ngogi wa leadership rabor do ma management team ra PNCC yagi malas mal moragel kuro babal sub mam el provider will service stable affordable mar other belau idam dengel wase sera sis bra gobi del top darngi engle telgibel ituta kargarngai la kombali mang dire kal kadam la matak label set mendi ngongi la ko lo ay sulwas ka kadam lo supe del ko kumla resolve ay gay udo kumla moy kri elang kad albang la apatokal opportunity opportunity dal albang niya malimis ko ra exciting dia kadil pera kombali ako mbara lo ser other bela ro ko ya mal excited el gile la two major project del gida o giwa report ng mamal mera committee kadam dengel was ng aling cell fiber to home project cell mobile core network replacement al blada nga grant tel mamotmok la ang malat to igen dilong kadamal merenga sudira arsa lil belaw el nosub il ngosugi del gok fund ay gal tablol mal maklol project teleng okmon dimla kadanga anges wo kadal am mal dir ka idara atokora cellular makuk tokora connectivity ra ay gel outplaying state especially babal daw rogi magidiri kalmal ngatiang emre ngasulela leadership ra president whips ma leadership ra both house ra olbira kalulaw ka support termil gire laurel gida motmokla ang dia kalso am di mak credit tel gire legal grant agi bay mal soma emre ngasulela leadership ra bela luase ngogi wa ngil lureriu yang arinya ngil dalwil gida mabatokol maklol blula blula Sabi lo dar sanges sul merbelaw. Mang mo edel eligible qualify re gidel al ngesra al mera PNCC. Makura dingol mer tiagi de chairman emergo amyamla ngusel babilingel la PNCC ti update tergidra. Gidel legel luriol gida albang madongot mokre lang. Di mal ngara critical time. Ra al sel ki ay gidel tablol major project. Igang adaw maral wasi okmong makatmok kul maungil agi mo make sure waseng makatmok kul maungil ya igel o masindra igel issue gida face lang most of idel address diak promise waseng 100% ending most of idel address igel maklol issue bottleneck kel gida experience lang medikul met yagi de chairman mergo ya lutor koral didra tiala chendargit malsum somya bora igel detail update sa mga do nangal sige sulang chairman
chair ang umdaseng abol sa BL by the meda starter sel mobile network sel pabilingiw mukha di maskida update tragay gida rogoy el momrek ore kwa open ra germanger malngania specific gire like poring
ماذا كمان مسؤول chairman مقدم مو سيجد الموبايل core network replacement project. Ndik mo lingit tra CEO kamam ngaya marut ra udah ra bekel sils yang ani igel maklol al adu ngar alsel agi mala update tra adra de follow igel rogul tokol lorul di bay do lingit tringi malbol saudi e malbol se edel guk mos modi tokol belaw o mom lokol tokol amrigel. You got that? Yeah, you can start by
Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. So to start with our mobile network upgrade project, this is a full replacement, effectively, of all of PNCC's existing mobile network technology. It is fully funded and supported by the US government and also by the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue partners. And we are at the moment in the deployment phase. So in August of last year, we held an RFP, which was very well subscribed. Over 20 different companies responded to that RFP. That RFP was modular because we're following an Open RAN structure. Open RAN simply means a way of interconnecting different companies' technologies within a mobile network. And because of that, it enabled us to do a modular RFP, meaning that we can select from multiple different companies to ensure that we get the best possible product for Palau in terms of the fit for our unique environment and also in terms of pricing for that technology. Since approximately April of this year, we've been working on the core network with the selected vendor. That vendor is a secure and trusted hardware partner, one of the very top companies in the world when it comes to 4G and 5G mobile technology. We're also working on the other supporting elements of that, which include a network intelligence tool, SMSC, and of course the radio access network itself. When it comes to the radio access network, the initially selected vendor was unable to honor their bid price, and as such, PNCC has gone back to the second and third place bidders for those RAN or radio access network components. That is not causing any undue delay, however, to the project because the core network itself is the longest lead time of approximately 14 months from the point we start work to the point that we can finish work. We anticipate that the radio access network components will be finalized and selected within the next 2 months, so certainly before the end of November. What this will mean, Chairman, at the end of this project is Palau will be one of the best connected countries in all of Oceania when it comes to mobile technology. Palau will have ubiquitous 4G coverage everywhere that there is population, and indeed 5G coverage. The type of 5G is also important. Palau will be following 5G standalone. Now, 5G standalone in simple terms is real 5G. A lot of operators around the world use 4G cores with 5G radio access networks and call that 5G. That's 5G non-standalone, but we would say that's not real 5G because it doesn't deliver all of the benefits of the 5G standard. And those are unique to 5G core, being ultra low latency, massive amounts of IoT devices, and the capacity that the overall network is able to offer. In summary, Chairman, the network deployment has commenced at this point. RAN is the radio access network is the remaining element that is required to be procured. Work is ongoing, however, on the core. All of the partners that we are working with are secure, trusted, and we're following all of both our own procurement policies and, of course, those policies that are placed on the grant funding by our international partners as well. Certainly, Chairman. Thank you.
Hello. Before you go on to the fiber to the premises, there's a question on that particular issue, so we'll take that.
Thank you, Chairman. I know we had an issue before on, I guess, the system we have, that there was a limitation of people that can be connected to one tower. Will that be the same now with this new system or not?
Thank you, Senator. So that is a limitation in terms of the amount of concurrent users at any one time on a cell. That's a limitation across cellular networks, not only the existing system, but any system. Now, there are ways of adjusting the KPIs to maximize the amount of users. So, for instance, during the Pacific mini games, we reduced the amount of bandwidth that any one user could utilize in order to maximize the number of customers that were able to connect to those cells. So there are ways that we can ensure that we have proper coverage and capacity in all locations. But what you flagged is actually a limitation of cellular technology, full stop. So, Chairman, to update on the fiber project, this is a fully funded project, $34.9 million of grant funding from the Rural Utilities Service through the Reconnect 3 program. PNCC has been working on this project now assiduously over the past year with Monteor Lee and Company, our US-based engineering partner. We have now completed the design and planning phase. That is 800 pages of documentation, of technical drawings that covers all of Palau except the Southwest Islands, so from Kyangal to Angaur. And we have just had approval, actually, of that just last night. So we're very fortunate to get that through before any shutdown occurred within the US government. So that's something that we had been working with our engineering consultants to try and ensure. So the next steps will be a pre-bid meeting, which will be held in mid-October, so later this month. And from that, we will open the bid. That will be for pre-qualified bidders who are able to meet both the country of origin requirements and the bonding requirements for the project. And that is for the construction phase of the project. 90% of the construction will be bid out, and 10% of the construction will be done by PNCC ourselves. We will do the work in the outer islands of Kyangal, Angaur, and Palau, because our teams are more familiar in working in those locations. We have the boats. We're able to get the job done in those locations, whereas if we were to give that work to a contractor or to a foreign contractor, that would cause significant challenges for them in being able to work in those locations. It also means that PNCC is able to retain equipment so that we can maintain the network long into the future. So we will have trenching equipment, we will have fiber blowing equipment, all of the necessary machinery to maintain this new network long into the future. If we had not chosen to build some of the network ourselves, we would not be able to then retain any equipment. So there's a multiple benefits to PNCC taking some of that work on ourselves. And of course, not least, that all of our team will be intimately familiar with the network itself, having worked on it, having built out sections of the network. We're at the moment procuring a training partner to come out and do what's known as CFOT. That is a Certified Fiber Optic Technician training. That's an internationally recognized standard used in the US, used in Australia, used in Europe, which we will be using here in Palau to ensure that all of our teams are fully trained and able to build out a network to the very highest level. When the network is completed, we anticipate that to be before December 27. So there's 310 days of actual construction that we have forecast. We anticipate commencing work 90 days after we close the bid, which would be in December of this year. So at the end of Q1 of next year, we'll be starting that work. 310 construction days, of course, there may be unforeseen delays or some issues that we haven't, simply unforeseeable. For instance, more challenging environmental conditions through rain, for instance, that delays work. So that's why we say that the December 27 is our date. Even though we only have 310 construction days, that's 1.2 years. We're allowing a full 2 years in order to ensure that we're able to deliver the network within that time frame.
Thank you, Mr. Fraser. And then maybe just give an update on the eSIM. And then I'll ask Chairman to just kind of summarize those three issues, because I think those are the three kind of issues that the people want to know the status of. And then I'll open the floor for any specific questions before we move on to the next.
Of course. Thank you, Chairman. So in terms of eSIM, we have taken some time to ensure that we have the right partner on board for eSIM. eSIM, as an emerging mobile technology, It is a space which is full of different competitors, different companies offering different products and services. Some of those companies, it's very difficult to know and to trace back the quality or the provenance of the service or technology that they're offering. As such, PNCC has gone to all of the tier one global vendors. So the vendors similar to what AT&T or T-Mobile or KDDI would use, and taken proposals from those global leaders in SIM technology. And that is for eSIM, for physical SIM, and also for an entitlement server. An entitlement server is simply what's used to connect a mobile device to a secondary communication device, perhaps a wearable, like an Apple Watch or one of those types of devices. The entitlement server simply shares the user identity securely from the mobile identity to the wearable device or to the other connected device of the customer. The partner that PNCC has selected is a global leader. In fact, is the company that invented the first SIM card in the 90s. A German company that provides security at the Pentagon, for instance, and also prints euros for the European Union. So in terms of digital security partner, they are a world leader. With that, we've been working with that company now for a number of months. We anticipate before the end of October that we will be ready to launch eSIM connectivity for our customers here in Palau.
Thank you for that. And just quickly go over the service quality and coverage. And then after that, I'll ask Mr. Kumangay to just give us an overview in Palau.
Of course, Chairman. Thank you. In terms of coverage and quality, that's the core of PNCC's mission, is to ensure universal service throughout all of Palau, something that we take very seriously and something that we work on all of the time in terms of our efforts to improve services for our customers. I think some of the recent improvements that we've been able to deliver, especially after the Pacific Mini Games, where we did a lot of work on the mobile network, ensuring that it was capable of supporting the additional visitors that we had in Palau during that time. That has enabled us through work with expert RF, that's radio frequency technicians, consulting and supporting us remotely to improve some coverage dead spots, particularly an area which had emerged near the courthouse, also one in the Medellai area towards the causeway to Malakal, and indeed some other coverage issues along the Irai to Koror Road. Those are some of the improvements that we've driven through the Pacific Mini Game. So a lasting benefit to Palau and to our customers from the work that was required to support that event. In addition, just as a further example, just on Monday night of this week, we changed and adjusted routing configurations to a new configuration which joins two circuits together effectively, and through that I've been able to unlock almost 2 gigs of additional capacity at peak hours. So that's a very major increase in the available bandwidth that customers are able to utilize. Peak hour for Palau is approximately 8 to 9 p.m. or so at nighttime, when everybody is at home enjoying time with their family and spending time on the internet and television. So that's a very significant bandwidth improvement, which should be noticeable as well for customers, especially during peak hours. I would just also say we've been working on solutions for the Southwest Islands now over really the course of 2 years. And throughout last year and early this year, with the support of the Ministry of Education and with the support of the governors of both Southwest Island states, we have deployed VSAT, that is a satellite technology, into both Sansarol and Poloana, and commissioned those services also into Hatho Bay. So those satellite systems will provide data capacity both for the MOE's private education network, so that students in the Southwest Islands have the same access to the same materials that students in the mainland here have, and also provide some Wi-Fi capacity for the residents of those islands. We have experienced some significant outages and issues there due to power, as we're connected into the island's solar and battery system, and there's just simply a limited power supply. As such, the next phase of the work that we do in the Southwest Islands is to design and procure a standalone dedicated power system, which will be for the PNCC equipment that we position there to provide services to the local communities.
Thank you for that update, Chairman Kumangay. Paska 1 minute. Mukha di summarize igel di lung to Palau for the benefit baby adan mo mese oren sertiara uru sulang.
Sulat chairman makmal di mamre edama. So kadungor tial to ra cellular. Ngagi dal law ay sirgi dal wase kada ngara process el motmokra at to ra na umre ka RFP mela kardi mo review igel proposal ra adal mlame. So mga maybe toward the end elal November. Inya mo sabe edal al mesa igel roguil bitra imrogo umru ra selection start sale process ra awarding ma. Arugul to ko mo do mes al sela talagal next year November 26 2026 kita anticipate el wasang mlamo sabe el tial to ra a celular mlamo BS sila BS ma antena mlamo nya ABS el door elay gel antena gidel door elang ay ge diregal bodo bodo mo eda baby ra antena mga niya okol mal BS el antena el mo mgalgalya babal daw ma al cell orior maigil dead spot la kayo klamadas padal ma al cell orior mairay ay ge mo sabe el address mamlamru la detail el gora sketch mama praigel aerial morigal antena abay don tide chairman na wasagi imorel lo mangelegal state el gukile la tokora isment praigegi del al site la antena la celular dire lo gutial te al di daw ay sel mora arbek kal governor sama ablo belal wasagi la medu mara ati de guk mo spanges la state government ra guk tokora klaing sera isment el girel ogodoro legal la antena gid masigi da gora total funding ra cellular network replacement project nga 14.2 million anticipate ra next year November mlakot maklitial mong modia kay gel hopefully kada address ay gel roguil problem ra coverage ra blue belaw ilak da more to ra fiber gagi dal mlas modi segi dal dorin 4.9 million funding gidam lango kadiri kal Lugor omes al sela December elara kalwase. Most of el mokatmok lagi roguil. El babier la tokora bidding ma tokora RFP ma bidding. Most of el select traga selgom bali niya mo murutial project. Kadiri kalomes ringin nga al sela December 2027. Ingam la mo break tial rogil el fiber to home project. Yakadil borabek globally mura a business ma atokora wabang ka. Selguk abulur arwa ang ayaw mablilyo mang ayangan ay game guk timbo ngalale lakong bali PNCC motmok lagi lakadokora familiar aguk ko bro raygay maalsela ngani gel existing fiber gid remote raygay ang last bed de uspe ay gel sisul easement guk tile rabes fiber lo tirak raygel al din mo era guk pes blind la motor guk mo mong manigel BS site gida ko mamangis mang segida ko la tele legat develop project ma-update ngi esel to ra ay isim mawa pladaling garuba kada gidire kal maldipus ngi kel to ra isim leng malbot ka una comment ra adra blue especially ngal gida nga outside del may mar okya kal belaw seleme te dioger tial to gida mdengel waset ya malungil magidi ordi meringi mong bekel meeting lagi maklat keringi yung last mo di sel ko la detail matik nigal lurel hindi ko daw maral was el sel lara ko da most of edel deploy ra tial ko pes service ra to ra isim igi daw ti sokal mong por da nga so mil ko ra ed sige the chairman
Sula chere el altime bokpsat le labay sa chairman ra committee. Ngagi del wase strate allar bebil ma kadamo mo ursel ger manger president ana swam. Oh. Senator Pedro.
Malungil itasil si chairman Omar members ra adi question nga ke komlasto ba a live al broadcast madirek katel TV al adi kalora mo certain time di mo talaklog ang mama mo Odiak, modal adam di gamaral Mr. Baklosay. Kalabok marege by them answer a question. So the question nga kasi gigidel kukora program al blem reduce mal ube komlo da mo rule. Ngani ablal saver ngi akumbali in terms of money ma kora resources sa kami. Saya ako the question nga. So
Sulang senator lang ngilrima. Akmo ongelingi emro kasi ong atyam sel dili kalmo edahil kukola detail. So sel to la live broadcast lururing PNCC ra at telala karam la memo. Adire kalulgi wa abato kolon tirira al other belaw. Kaya gimlo spend akme dal nga almost $60,000 sa mara equipment ta kamam. Mang settle equipment mangal obis lang. Algi mo spe el marula live broadcast la arwa kamaldi la dire kal members el kamaldi la late libadul yakdam los edel dire kal live ngi mga gilumo ko la man leungil len dire kal baim lo ulat ti al revenue mera company ang wala man leungil lang mam hindi kidam tingel wase ngani baby la other bela ko marula ko si sul siobay koram lo milimeter kama me wal koram dar sa concern na tilwase kyal PNCC koram akam pitlo mang kamam o kom dim malar okya kamang masaya ko la agi ko la di lumo lemro ko hindi ki dire kal mal malat kay gal kuk makarel siobay maamu la pa siobay tir magi koram lo stop ngil mel elang de agi moru ngim wagim ko la ola baygal equipment edi mo ruler ngi bigos ang segidal algo kola mlara ng mamla si elektrika other be laul law siobay mong elem ko ruler ngi mong hindi akalakat sa amal duli di segida wal kolam law ulagim no stop hindi equipment tagidil gamolap mong ang sabel anytime algo ka the side dal wasik dal motel mo ruler live broadcast la kakaraw sa event travel balance edal wot makli tokora di TV alak alwidet yal TV service kita di TV adi maral 24 hours di gel baby ra channel ako mo olong song sa content telwagel local content ay gay ako di makasa content la show musel ko po mo dia ang kolas dia kalsal di repeat mo makasa content mo dia kaltob da tokol al content lagi local channel lagi damang detail di TV program lagi tia marara vekal sales and dekal stock
Sula chair sa since kadang arti ay gidal tapi gra live broadcast na di TV tara senator amle mention ringi ra meeting ra kamamal mle question ra set yang ara mong kumbali ra other belaw esira nga ringi terkla yung other Pacific Games ang dimla ko live broadcast ringi lang tukora amal mle sa maria ra other belaw sen sa amal di nga ra lima mo o mesectel game mang kam ko ra di mo tomatisay gide mo ay selo sen ngaram le alda tu ngaram ma PNCC dimla kal part ra live broadcasting.
yak man silang chairman daw ngil kalim PNCC mle actively support at tial game mle belaw at tukora connectivity ra cellular ma wifi ma PSL fiber mo ra igel venue ma abilay silblan nga athlete sa kadamle support tir agi dire kadamle nga tela mal mitra adrabor da mitra organizing committee ra game emro agi ukle adu algire la bebir a service PNCC provider hindi mlaka on tiril mera PNCC elwase bom broadcaster tia live mong segi da kukti hindi agimle meet a PRO ko ma ngara meeting ra vek temela meeting din la kawal ko ongit tilmer kamam lo segi mo broadcaster ng live mo segi da ko di subekal duli sula chairman
Ali, hindi ang mal blakataklet chairman kamsulal mala makataklisel ng beto ka raw ang klo raw ring raw lulwas yung raw ulman dim lakatay gid live broadcast. Mate alam sa president ra senate.
Yang malungil tidal nger kau. Hindi kami ul other abord al other bela. Kung hindi ka talmiul ko kum dasura other side of it. Saya question lang. Agum das yung majority ra other abord bela mle expect lo se. Tial PNCC kita other bela bol sibil broadcast ay kal ngaringil activity bol sima mal dingar lang. Hindi kal other babal daw amler oreo rogoy. Kami ang artil alom dasul kira other bela mang borong ya tilgibel koraul the swil ay ka common sense. Yala ang mongel waiseng. I think that's a very mistake. Ngir kaul mortal tol. Tial PNCC klok le other bela maulay gel service di kada dur kumiu. Kum dim dengel wasay kagi dala kada rulang mata arsul. Lese sel hol wigel ngari tel program ngul kawat belaw. Sel mong dudul wasay I don't think it's fair. Ilmura other belaw lo klalo tel klalo. Ay ka di kami tergal gilay al kami tergal kumtas yung alwid ay al kami tergal alwid. Di ako meter sel wasay kada other belaw tel klalo klokle other belaw. Mada derli tel PNCC mosera ay gidel once in a lifetime activity morngir belaw. Mang kamadangay mblew la kota blur belaw the whole week. Kamamal adara olbila diagim kamama diagim mura artiam sellol ger kamame elakang ngir kamamal mortil kamiyaw uleng I don't think it's fair ma. Ako langit na malakam lut ng mga adul waisay. Al sumang almut ng moring ngidi ng ral program ligira lablur belaw and take time el kamil adrabor ng relil moringi. Ya almost pe audo de komulkoy. Elan dia ko dinelo sen udaw daw ule kom losto badang gukti decision kamiwe. Ya igel station mlan nga dim nakal broadcaster tiang. I don't think till al statement terka fair ligira adrabur belaw.
Senator Utim.
Sila chairman ako adi mga lim na committee chairman sel for appraisal grila President Paules. Agel before kom do a live broadcast. Again dimle at your own expense ada kom le charge. Number 2. Sel again kanda kal gumya provide a base so partner with like the local company vice nga coordination recommend provide a service from other bela rogo. Instead ra sa kom disto mo komolap equipment da ka lele lagang made lusaw daw de makarang at so kom miruring ditada kom charge service say the question sir omorula live before kom le charge service adan dim le free dam le expense PNCC Yakman sulang President ng Senate ma Chairman Senator Rudim important agel blam racial concern agi mal no agel concern lang hindi akal dimlag intentionally agi imongoy tersel ngal alela PNCC gilel provide service mar adrabelo agi mal mlungol rakuk tele la organizing artial tokoy committee yagi lura loban 3 imla lagi mo loban 3 eko kulumral wasem tum langi sel ko para media committee tir lulung wala artial broadcasting artial game mong adile kal ko kumlo fault tamam kul dim lagi support tir hindi sesebekal adamit ringil waseng dim la ka angal swila PNCC morsel ko committee long wala na broadcasting at tial game mang ane also mang motel mo marinya klol kora tokol merbelaw kada PNCC agi mo adura da bor dem ko yung marinya igel lugok sa bedal kay sering sel ko kulila chairman la Ways and Means chairman kam sulang igel equipment tagim ngilay liga live broadcast telegilum das sulas ityang tala te alas edel guk mega erna do del mera kombali el help para kombali mang ama sayam leo do sama lu lagi nam arigel el equipment masel gim library wa kamaldi malubeng any event yang alnya certain field el gim charge el okya ka hara meng mlegora help pelgi bertime mergo segi dara ko laboring segi dara gora al adul kama matrigal local content producers ese am legora on tril wase kom gora mal kulom baliam na tengal meltit kama mla to gora live broadcasting meng agi gora mlo tirgang mal di other belaw ese aku kama ma other belaw ngartial bordo sel me other belaw gor oling tegegi dagi mo gora wala bol mo other belaw mendi segi da asabegal duling mergo ya alegel tokora live broadcast ay dirgal anya cost associated ni overtime employees maigel mendirgal sa amal mo agi mat mo krabat lang mong sedel ko klumutel mo address ay gigit tokora live broadcasting drura selguk patset tra PNCC next year maraming sulang chairman
Sula chairman already kun tira short recess Okay, kadumutan mo live sa te alla na Mr. Chairman kumanga sel lomsodem el altamek mate alam sa Vice Chairman Nakamura nga nga kadil. Nakamura.
Sulang Chairman Chairman Gumangay el asel modernizer tial el mobile network sel mautan network ang sing di tilang igado spare ngi kada dotrur ung guk se saludol sa adalma ada makarang
Oy, ma'am sulang Senator Malungilger sel the complete tertial replacement tertial network git yagi idirekal na discuss sa adrabor dro mangela CEO la baby options selwasen makalang akuk ta kada turur kada listening kada build akuk baby la kada motto dalik bela akuk mamesa baby opportunity low spiritual system alguk mo sa ula revenue mera kombali may ke baby la discussion ma options selgira akor omes mergo dire kimsal otok lakil o sa kada mal mom kalarngi di sel gora ngalaw do sama se maybe sa edel guk mora to dalik belaw kada maka lulia belan mongin mabot to de mergo in subedel guk uspe ay gidel equipment tergida mandiak dom alabes edi guk te uspe el mora tala abalu guk mo operate maybe for example maybe FSM or WAM sa iba nang yap sulay
sulang I'm curious and I just wanna I saw some numbers in a submission of the total PGST collected by PNCC but those numbers only ended June of 2025 and were submitted to the Senate Committee on Ways and Means. Could you, for this fiscal year, which ended a couple of days ago, give me a ballpark figure on how much PGST we collect, PNCC collected from its customers?
Senator, in terms of our total PGST payment, I think that's what I could share with you. I don't have the exact amount that we've collected, but what we have submitted or remitted to the government over not this fiscal year, but the prior is just over $1 million. And we anticipate it being slightly more in this year. So again, just over $1 million of total PGST remitted to the government. That nets off, the PNCC or the PGST that we pay against the revenue portion.
Okay. And then final question. So just by reading your October 2 letter to Chairman Mangsao, and I just want to confirm this. So for the mobile network modernization, replacement, that should be done by when?
It should be completed by November of next year,
Of next
Senator.
year.
Yes, we're already working on that and have been, as we mentioned, since approximately April of this year.
Okay, so this is your customers expect to have the sort of lag on services throughout the next 11 months or 12 months, correct?
Yeah, over the next 12 months, we'll be replacing all of the existing network infrastructure. We will also be replacing the SIM card that our customers use in their phones. That's an important thing for our customers to know, and we will be educating and communicating that to everybody in the coming months once those SIM cards become available.
So we hope that by November of next year, a year from now, we would have completed the mobile network or the cellular service system.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. But throughout this year, in the next 12 months, we're going to expect some disruptions or interruptions or some dead spots here or there as you modernize the system, right?
We will be doing everything we can to minimize the disruption to our customers, Senator. So the way the new network is being built, we're building it side by side with the existing infrastructure. So we're not swapping site by site, because when you swap site by site, that's extremely disruptive for customers, because you can have a day outage for every site that you're swapping, or even more if things go wrong. So the way we're building this, we're building it in parallel to the existing network, and then we'll cut customers over once the new network is built. So they should not experience that. There may be, we can't say there won't be any disruption, but they should not experience, a very significant level of service disruption throughout the period as we're building the new network infrastructure. Then as we migrate customers across, we will of course test that with friendly user testers first. So all of our own staff, a selected group of maybe a couple of hundred customers, to test the new network before we start to cut our live customers over onto the new infrastructure. So all of that is to minimize disruption wherever possible.
So, I'm not sure if my phone is super old but in the last 3 or 4 months, there are instances where I send a text and it won't be able to be completed. Is this because you guys are, or is it because I need to buy a new phone?
Senator, I'm not sure the device that you're using, but it's not something that we frequently hear from customers. Generally, the SMS, it's a very old technology, SMS, but it works really well. We don't generally have any complaints or issues that we're aware of, at least, with SMS not sending or not delivering to other customers.
But regardless, customers can always call customer service and then report something.
Absolutely, Senator, yes. And wherever a customer reports an issue, that raises a trouble ticket for that issue for our technicians to look at and to investigate and fix any problem that there may be.
Okay. As you modernize the mobile network, one of the things that we've been, I've had some businesses not complain or disappointed that they cannot use, let's say, Starlink, right? Because the Bureau of Communication says you can't use that. Forget what the current law is, but there's some restrictions there. But as you modernize this network system, would a person in the Rock Island be able, or a tourist in the Rock Island be able to, use his or her phone or vlog, etc.?
Yes, they will, Senator. We have plans to have full coverage throughout the Rock Islands for 4G connectivity, so more than enough capacity for a customer to do a live stream or any kind of video blogging, anything of that nature.
Chairman, alim lakmung eh. So November, so you already made a promise to all the customers, so you better make it happen a year from now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Sula, Vice Chair, ultimate kildra ulal mora, Senator Maraidi.
Sula, Chairman, malungil itasil chen mera Chairman, rogul members of board, Mr. Fraser, good afternoon. Akmare nga sula me Chairman ko leadership management tra PNCC regal mal lungil update information. Tugubet sak mereka sulil gila laigal jal modernization ra mobile network misal fiber to the home or fiber to the premise project lang meral mo o increase ra quality ra service ra PNCC mo ra okya ni mong wai sigi de chairman tial gari ka wasi a modernization ra mobile network based tial report rumi ko do mesra quarter 3 ra next year ya fiber to the home 310 days from whenever you start construction. So safely as it was nga December next year or maybe early January 27. Why say? Agriga ngartial existing system those pairing lang. Ang kita di ko tangi katamlam ng liya service ra PNCC ral sal malungil. Lang akman ng los hindi ka lang sa the level. Adengwa di malalo a homenet el internet card del multra nga lu sa luwasi super fast internet de kalway say katamangay mga agrige chairman ang say ngarang initiative ra PNCC while kadamangi lagagi del mcroll uror and sa edel cook improve tial service el gida delivering at time tolita man nganya kurang mil answer sa hidil si el kura mo olak law the spiral other spera PNCC alwebi la kadinga de ngwang malo to kam de ngil kadira lo spera service sula.
So long, Senator. We've been working over the last, really over the last years on continuous improvement of our network infrastructure. We know that we're going to be replacing all of that infrastructure with absolute world-class connectivity through both fiber and mobile. But of course, we need to continue upgrading our existing systems to provide as best a service as we can until such time as those replacements are complete. Over the last number of months, I mentioned the work that we did during the Pacific Mini Games, and just prior to that, we worked with radio frequency experts to change and improve all of the handovers between mobile sites. That work took 2 weeks approximately to complete, with constant engagement with those RF technicians from overseas, assisting our team in making sure that the connectivity on the mobile network and the handovers between the sites was as good as possible. And you'll notice that some of the areas that persistently had dropped calls in the past have been alleviated from that work. So that's one area, just as an example of work that's been done on the mobile side specifically. It was done for the Pacific Mini Games, but it's a lasting benefit which is carried through to afterwards. On the fixed line side, that's where things become a little bit more difficult, because it's all copper infrastructure in the ground, and aging copper infrastructure is very difficult for to improve services on. What we have done in areas where it's feasible is introduce VDSL, so a different type of copper connectivity. All of our customers have ADSL, some customers have access to VDSL. That is a way of us being able to deliver some additional speed to customers in some areas only where the copper is suitable for that, before we replace the fiber. And I think one of the biggest things I mentioned also earlier, just this week, we changed configuration of routing so that we're able now to bond multiple 10 gig circuits together to provide additional capacity to our customers. And what that's done is unlocked almost an additional 2 gigabytes per second of capacity. So an increase of about 20% in terms of the total peak usage. Now, that's only just been done this week. So some of those benefits or some of the impact of that customers may start to see over the coming days and weeks. But these are just examples of, every day we're continually working on trying to get the absolute most out of our network assets, to make sure that the service for our customers is as good as it possibly can be until we replace those networks.
Sulang edi klutel eta gel baldo si senator kaman sulara kalim agi kaman magi dirakal okya magi maral experience ay gal al issue rekal ada bela experience magi dirakal mal actively agi mo adur akong balil base aral edar blue bela abul dengan ni adara polls malu bagi guk experience la tial gora di miliwek sel over internet example la YouTube yang gora di miliwek la magi dire kal gol report tay nga akong bali mendire kal bolog yang dire kal mal gulngit tar ada bela lo siya sum ko mo experience ay kay mom ko dongal may leng waisel blood so dingang tial al network gida fiber el may copper el morablay Michael wa homenet lol copper ngara fiber el marahat imro copper rahat el mora obli mal mo total al yal copper potokal namo omar singi malalo da koduk mo ripe lagi gida bul direkal pebila issue hindi ka mamal malas mal maintain la sel gidel level la service sel gida quality la service magi malas mo ragit kur pa sa mamal address ay gelo will concern la adra blul may magi malon ito la selom kodong almera kong bali mapol sa bedal sumang guk issue rak mungger eda tolas mo address ay gidan al issue say gida sulara malong ilger
Sula chairman mati alam sa Senator Rudy ma.
Sulang chairman. Cha question gilak chale document ko mi ba? Sale financial status. The question is ngaram ko mo spera EBITDA. Why are you can you give us the net after the EBITDA? Can you factor in the EBITDA? What's your debt position right now?
In terms of net profit, Senator, is
Yes,
it?
sir. Because I'm just curious why you're using the EBITDA to the committee. Why?
Maybe I'll explain that part first, why we use that as a metric. So we use EBITDA as earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. And we use that as a measurement of the efficiency in the company. It's very commonly used across other telecommunications companies, so it ensures that we're using the same types of benchmarks that any other telecommunications company in the world would use. And it's really important in a capex-intensive business like telecommunications or other types of utility businesses that we do that, because otherwise depreciation essentially obfuscates the actual performance of the company. So that's why we use it. We also compare ourselves to the sorts of benchmarks that other telecommunications companies use. A 30% EBITDA margin is generally considered to be good in the telecommunications business, and moving past a 30% up to a 40% would be considered excellent. Today, PNCC runs at approximately a 30% EBITDA margin. In terms of net profit, PNCC on absolute bottom line, so including depreciation, amortization, etc., became profitable for the first time in a number of years in 2024, returning a profit of approximately $400,000. And that in this year we anticipate to be growing in line with the EBITDA growth, which you see in the numbers there. So a little over $1 million.
Okay, so you show an increase in revenue as you state over here, but without increasing prices. Is that because of more customers utilizing the services, or where did the customers come from, the tourism or the military side?
The EBITDA performance, actually, Senator, is like a lot of that is driven from cost saving. So we mentioned in the document from driving efficiency in our business. So for some of the major contract areas, especially with foreign companies and foreign contracts that we have, can be very, very expensive. Satellite bandwidth, for instance, is very expensive. IP transit, which is what we require in order to get to the rest of the world. So once BSCC drops us off in Guam, we have to buy IP transit there to actually get to the internet. Those things can be very expensive. So we did a lot of work over the last 2 years in renegotiating those contracts, in fact, in forcibly exiting some unfair contracts, ensuring that we were getting the most value for us and for our customers. So those are the things that help us to improve EBITDA and improve the profitability of the company without actually increasing rates for our customers. We know that there's been inflation, certainly a lot of inflation in the US over the last years, and we've had inflation, of course, in Palau as a result of that as well. But we have not pushed our prices up with inflation. This is, I think we mentioned also in the letter, this is something which is unusual in the telecoms business at the moment. If you look in the US, in Europe, in all of these countries all around the world, generally there's inflation on telecommunication services. They're gradually increasing those prices because they're not able, there's nothing left for them in terms of cost saving, or they're not making as much out of the infrastructure that they've built as they thought that they would. On the other hand, for us, we're pushing those efficiencies so that we don't have to increase prices for customers.
Thank you. Director, the other question, I'm going to request. I think you mentioned the EBITDA is for your international benchmark, right? For the industry benchmarks. Okay, here's a request for the committee and for since this is a national interest. I got so in Marula report go krulit to gubetsel consider sel EBITDA o sis mo tamara cost to my get challenges of PNCC. Then mandak so adam create a monster voluriu le you're going to kick the can down the road that will realize say I'm not depreciate and matamara. I mean just to be let's take some preventive measures and at least them aware aboard mas yung mangira la national mo ngay mga standby program so how do you make sure
Why say Senator, as Simon mentioned, a lot of the improvement in our financial status, really it's all about the cost savings. I'll give you an example. SIM cards, $2 per SIM card, we're able to bring it down to 50 cents a SIM card by changing vendors cost-wise. We had a lot of retired employees who were getting high salaries. A lot of those positions were not filled. If they were filled with lower salaries. Okay. We also had an example of Docomo, right, where we had what was the IP transit, where we reduced again we negotiate a contract and reduce the savings. So it's a lot of it is really looking at the bottom line. Look at our operations and try to cut down where the cost should be, and renegotiate contracts where the price should be where it should be. All these years, we've been operating on a high cost margin. So to answer your question, say the EBITDA, if you look, it's interest, depreciation. If you add back interest to the number, we're making profit across the board. But because the interest and depreciation is part of the operation, it skews that figure. So yeah, those numbers can be presented to you.
I mean, what they sell those pairing in for your tool at the same time some alert tra committee, a national just in case those spera infusion protect our national interest and the part of security. Just based on experience I got SOEs. You don't want to create a monster madas ang magalimang adang sula. Thank you. To ask our chairman, compared to your employees like 5 years ago, how many employees 5 years ago? How many employees do you have now?
We have 105 employees today, Senator. When I arrived in Palau, we had slightly over 130.
Okay. Sula, thank you. Sula, chairman.
Sula, Senator Udim Ekma te alam sa Senate President.
Chairman, tel problem tel doba dengwaeng gat adikal problem rat tarabasyo belaw rogir mandi amdul washe omgargere bol probleme emo dengwal mer leng belaw rogir te belaw rogir mo baygiri lo Mr. Aranglel bela erulil mo dikal waise le omdu omgarangara mae en waise obor ngorbe den diakal waise endi obor amyun cheng waise belaw rogir mo ko di sol bringi rogir mo diakal adalo dengwale ko akum do cheng lagiri lo rol girer che It's a problem all over, not a certain place and what. So
Yes, Senate President. So with the new network, we'll be significantly densifying all of the cell site infrastructure. We have 60 cell sites today. Within the new network, we'll have 117. So that gives much better coverage and capacity. It covers all of those dead spots that we have today. There's, as you've mentioned, that there's significant numbers of dead spots, not just within the areas, more populated areas, but also in the rural areas of Babeldow along the compact road. So those are priorities for us. And that's why the number of cell sites is increasing so much.
Okay, thank you for your service. Another gram tel sim karda akakaro sa price ngira al sel tel belur bela undia sel betul tendala yang yor gura tarabla sel wase agyol trar ngira 11 dala ya tarabasyo 12 dala waise dia kakan trar ngir tel price like in Goror, like only in Goror and different store, different price.
We've tried, Senate President, to stop that behavior. So we sell SIM cards at the same rate to everybody, to all of our dealers. So we strictly ask those dealers to sell them at the price that we request to our customers. Sometimes a dealer may, someone might buy some SIM cards from a licensed dealer and then go and sell them at a different price. And unfortunately, it's difficult for us to control that. But one way for our customers to know if they're getting the right price, we've placed signage. So if the dealer has a PNCC sign, you see those little blue metal signs that stick out of the shop, or if they have a sticker on the door or a sticker at the counter, a PNCC sticker, that's a licensed dealer. Those are dealers that we serve directly, and we do mystery shopping and price checking of those dealers to ensure that they're selling at the prices that they're supposed to. So that's one way for customers to know. If you see the PNCC sign, you're safe. You know that that's going to be the right price for the product that you're buying.
Also, the SIM card are sold at different places, different price.
It's unfortunately the same thing, Senate President, that some dealers may purchase SIM cards from another dealer and sell them in their shop, and we're not able to control that. But the same thing is true there. The sign is the way. If you see the PNCC sign, you know that it's going to be at the right price.
Oh, okay. Okay. Channel 25 on PNCC side, what's the purpose of that Channel 25?
I'm not sure, Senate President, what is on Channel 20. I must apologize.
What's your purpose of operating Channel 25? Local channel, what on your side, what is your purpose of running that channel?
The local channel is simply to provide an outlet for local content. So if local content creators, entrepreneurs, the youth, any local community group, if they have content that is suitable for national broadcast, that channel is available for us to assist them with broadcasting.
For the local
content.
people to use it?
If they have suitable content, yes, sir.
And you charge it?
It would be free to put content onto that. If it's suitable content that should be broadcast nationally, it would be free to put content on there.
You don't have any idea of, since you are operating it, make some local programs or ask the, like hospital and school to put some programs for the kids or for hospital purpose,
I think it's difficult for us to do that ourselves, Senate President, but what we will be doing in the coming months is encouraging local content creators to create that content to get it onto national television. But for us to create it ourselves is very, very difficult. We have, as you mentioned, 105 employees. All of those have full-time positions, and it's very difficult for us to have them working on additional content creation. It's outside of our wheelhouse, right? We're focused on telecommunications and providing connectivity. The content side, we would.
Is it very hard for you to assign one or two people for that channel? So give them the program and some kind of program for the kids. For instead, that program from FSM that they are drinking, fighting. What's the purpose of that? And you play on that because the family are fighting, the drinking, in the bar, and what are you trying to show to us Palawans on that purpose of that program?
I must admit, Senate President, I haven't seen that program. We'll certainly look into it. If it's not suitable for broadcast, we'll remove that
I
content.
don't know about this, but I recommend you take out that program. It doesn't help us local people to. We don't want to learn what the FSM people are doing when they're drinking and fighting on the TV. Are you teaching Palawan to do that, or
It's certainly
you're
not-
trying
certainly
to
not
tell
my
us that
intention,
Palawan
sir.
don't
No,
do that?
no.
That's my, I.
No, sir. So we look into that content. Anything which is unsuitable, certainly we would remove it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm kind of confused about that channel. And it doesn't provide any sense to the local people.
Is if you can get one staff assigned to reach out to Ministry of Health, Education to see if they have any contest they want to put on Channel 25. I think that's what he was alluding to.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Certainly, we do have intentions to run some promotions, actually, to encourage local content creation, and we can assign somebody to engage with government departments or agencies. If they have suitable content to put onto Channel 25, then certainly we can do so.
Thank you for that. And I think it's a lost opportunity, Channel 25, the local, because I think we've realized that mainly the youth, the up and coming generation, most of them speak English. So I think we can utilize that channel to put out programs in Palawan to stimulate and promote the Palawan language. I think that could be also another avenue that we can explore. To Chairman Rudim's point about finances, it's very, again, refreshing, and it's good to know that PNCC is in a stable financial situation as we speak. And so I would like to just ask you, or the chairman, to just give us an update on the RUS loan, and maybe just give some insight to the committee. And oh, wait, I'll yield the floor to the president before we go on to that.
Are your this grant and the finance that you're receiving, are they affected by PGST?
Yes, sir. We pay PGST on goods that we import or services that we import into Palau. Yes.
What about the grant, like the loan, 34 million? Will they charge PGST on that, or like those 1.6 million, like 2 million?
Yes, sir. On anything which is imported into Palau, we would be paying PGST.
We have to look into that, because I don't know, but I think it affect the project that you're getting money for it. Like it's gonna cost 34 million, but because of PGST, and then the project will suffer because of the big amount of money that will be taken out from it. Okay.
Yes, sir. We were also eligible for BPT. Yes. Yes, but only on profit. Yep.
Yes, we pay 10% PGST on all imported equipment for the project, and services as well. And we do also pay business profit tax. So it's over $1 million for 2024.
Business profits tax, do you pay that?
Yes, Senator, we do pay business profits tax as well. Because actually of depreciation and amortization and these things, our business profits tax is very, very low. But at PGST, we pay on all goods and services.
But the BPT is factored in your markups, right?
Oh, yes, it is. Absolutely, yes.
How much percentage did that affect your markup?
It's actually very small, Senator, in terms of BPT, because our BPT exposure itself is so small. So the depreciation actually shields us somewhat from BPT. So it's negligible. I wouldn't even say it it doesn't contribute
So the
any
depreciation
percentage.
is written off, so just be careful because you don't want to depreciate it and then you don't have the recovery cost too. Okay, that's why we're asking for that number. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ali, sulang chair mang dim update ra kami ti mar adrabulul girela starus sel mleklol mon del ngedra a couple years back sel RUS loan mo ay sila sel al timing wangara starus ring.
Ay ma'am sulang chairman la malungilgir kita PNCC malmol malharar sel loan gidra ADUS alak alwideng elal silseng the balance is about 17 million. 17 million na adir gamade el dong kadarngi se mo kara when is the 2039. 2039 kita a pay offer say gidel 17 million. Edi kun sa CEO maluk di mamotakli.
Thank you, Chairman. So, Chairman, in terms of the RUS loan, that was taken out by PNCC in 1995. Since 1996, we have repaid 24.8 million in principal, 34.7 million in interest, for a total of 59.5 million in repayments. The initial capital of that loan being 39 million. As our chairman mentioned, there's a remaining 17 million to be paid. Of that, 14 million is capital and 3 million is interest. We pay $104,000 every month, and we are current. We have never missed a payment, and that will be paid off in 2039.
Sulang chairman el al time el ngani nga ako bebira mloda kal siut mo eng te al el ang restaurant board ang ngani soril malgoy raw era bodong simertial hiding gidel afternoon.
Almsulang chairman ma president tra senate marbek tra senator sa tial ako maral wase yang alada dia kabol lulubong rigi del mutel megaswes mang haygagi dagal project del giblam update tra akamiti malmereng asulem ra a leadership ra akamiti el subem el kukom kodom mo me adadu pato kaygel kuk team meeting rigi del kaswes ra akmungger malsum kuk ngalinya asama abo loger mal bukod makaw dengengi pol logi wa leadership ka kuk mamudong mata peda adu hindi so far ay gagi daigel al lurol gida albangal matmok la makadiri kan malol ngitra a support la blue madengel wasem kataktal kita ko ra arod al gire legal service gida especially wa cellular matokora internet hindi gagi legal project tel okmo da o tuti nga legal timeline langi ekdo maral wasem masupel kuk address sa gil baby la issue mamontail kita albangan elang mang pero di mal mereng asulela kial government lang ma leadership ra president ma leadership ra president ra senate ma house ra a support the tilmera PNCC eng sebe nga atial grant tel mang digagi mesa sel ko mal al full al implementation legal project lendrigable merek sel al merek kita mo o para realize sel benefit tial PSL system la moringi eng mo sebe ko komesa cost tergida ma abrigable gida ko bebira areas ra kumbali hindi ko daw maral wasit overall kyang malmok klingel belaw idire kal malmo super lidera asel ko lift moratorium ekdam dangel wasya PNCC nga awngil posisyon al subel kampit talo banggela bebila kumbali bang aktimal mereng asulat dia electrical members labor dal wasing diungil basula rokul tokoy at sumaringa somiw electrical dimam bodong al mem dalutal mo adadu makomal sulat dia
Kamsulat chairman eng daswen close to telel the EC til ay gidel tokora moratorium til recently kadam le extend ringi el mokte ringi wase lakad alar ar bebir ar adal mesois ar was starling maigal bebil ya tapos kamiu matrigel terur ako kumbali owner owner other belaw el mga tmok lay kay gidal batok el improvement mal sumang maari nga time el bod alara SL adal mesoyis elakal el bolo uleng wal ngania comparative advantage mal ubang telmutel wabol ngaraklen hindi ra kabom kaltmok tira soyis el malu el kaltmok lamang nguul ma kumbalia mo dekal sabi el malamol mo uturo kumbali sa kita kumda sa malmokter tel moratorium obangel seng kumda sa tara di itutter nga daira collection magda direct close per tel te ale mal loling tra adrabulu lo sa gay gidal batokol el mob experience ra tokora service please report to mga PNCC man si el kalek taygal daira ay kaya direct kalmong ngoswira PNCC improve a service ring kada milsada tokora cyber security yakmal happy lo ay sila siya selgi bora regular session or October 14 selbi lirgidra cyber security abo do introduce ring ira third reading yakbal lang overwhelming support tra rogul senators wasing it's about time el bol nga ring ay leak ka lobbies el bodo do modo ring wasing bureau cyber security el nga ring adal nga ring mokte ka rin o dakta ka collaborate tulo banggel ay rogul ministry ma agency ra government including ra PNCC alwasim makara the lutel smisi ay gay gidal firewall bol sa BL nga rin ngil monitoring ma detection maselu eral sen dia maralme kada namom dengel wasetya atakal maralme mang nga rin sa gidal do modong ngil waseng computer incidents response plan maluban team el kaltmok kalwase seloral me ay gagida kat megil giredal mga tmok malubel sumang soyis ega tiragida ad may gagida teletal giredal mo soyis para alsel mo sa baakar gidra tiragida do mga dortilo sa tabad actors tiragida hackers makbalt meron ko report lo se mo o mga delo miwel ma close support tra president tra senate ma leadership ma senators so hopefully para house and dimre edel mula madala presidente enya direct support ringi mong sabel sa ringin mo la mo nga ngay gal synergy ra government ma local agencies ma ministries sukumandiga ako Mr. President oy giretel mla mo medal mal telerul sigal dong okertel uk na ma provide update mar adrabulu again lora la senator ngi abangaling wasi mal refreshing ese kumdasen ngora tokol de diliraw alel waseng refreshing al de betial loreng sa ungil ice kuktiakal legal de oloreng sa rapekal sales mang kumpal solar atrabor ma CEO Fraser with that thing happy okwama eday happy 43rd anniversary I understand na kami celebrate ringi delal August maloyang kami congratulate kami and we're cheering for you and hoping for another successful 43 years. With that, Mr. President, tial oversight hearing ergif, di mertiang kada end di PNCC akan tinul lo makara abelaw mar other belaw mara bululaan. Kopman sular rogoy.